Hey guys, I thought I'd do a flip through. It's been a while. This is my traveler's notebook. It's not my everyday carry. This actually lives on my desk. I'm too rough on my stuff to carry something like this with me. So instead I carry a little notebook where I tear the pages out, and transfer them into my big book. I have a couple things to say. One is, if I bump the table, the camera is going to jiggle, and I'm sorry. I couldn't really figure out any other way to do it. I have 3 fans pointed at me, and I don't want to move to a different location. And the other thing is, I have what's called silent reflux, and it's not a big deal. It's just it irritates my throat. So I have to clear my throat, and sometimes I will have to cough, and it's not an illness or anything, but it does make it hard for me to make videos. Sometimes I have to pause the video so that I can just sort of have some water and stuff. But you'll see me go like this, and that's me telling the video editor to cut out the part where I'm clearing my throat. There are some things that trigger it, and one is talking. So and probably talking with fans pointed at me is even worse. So I just wanted you to know ahead of time. I hope it doesn't irritate you. I will do my best to edit out any coughing and throat clearing. So this is a traveler's notebook cover, and I've had to shorten the elastic got old, so I've had to shorten it. So now it's kind of too tight. It's not very elasticy anymore. I'm lazy and I have ordered more elastics, but anyway. So this is cork. I'm sort of a new vegetarian in the last 10 years or so, and I'm switching every time I can. I'm switching away from animal products to non-animal products, and this is a cork cover that I bought on Etsy, and I love it, and I keep ending up going back to it. This is, I can't remember where I got this. I don't remember if it's a Cocoa Daisy or not. There's another company that was called like Field and Flower or something who made a bunch of really beautiful felt clips. And this is the kind of thing that, this is not my everyday carry, because I would bump into it. I would make a mess of it. And also, I can't keep little pretty things like this in an everyday carry. So let me quickly show you my everyday carry. I have a few notebooks like this. I subscribed to Field Notes a while ago, and I'm working my way through them. Also, I like to make my own notebooks. So I'm calling this a workbook. You could call it a capture. You remember, I don't know, when was that? When I was a kid, which is so many years ago, we had these things called dream catchers, where it was like a circle, and you would, it was like a little cute, kind of like a wind chime or a room decoration. You would hang, it was round, and you would do threads or embroidery thread or yarn, have little things hanging from it and beads. And it was meant to, in a sort of a cute way, I don't remember if there really was any true meaning behind it, except that it was just cute. It was called a dream catcher, and you would hang it by your bed and it would catch your dreams. But this is supposed to be like a capture, a catch-all. The other places that I write notes to myself or I capture my ideas, obviously on scraps of paper. I'm trying to stop doing that because then I lose track of the scraps of paper. I text myself. I will, if I do a scrap of paper, I'll take a picture of the scrap of paper, and then that way I know it's in my phone. Also, I will enter it as a calendar item for the next day so that I can go through and then what I do is I transfer it into here, or I transfer it into something a little more permanent. And so that's something I was hoping to talk to you about today, because it's a follow-up from a video I did a little while ago about making sure that you capture every one of your ideas, even if you don't use 90% of them. Especially if you're a creative person, it's so freeing to get it all out, and sort of it gives you breathing room in your mind to just, release it, but you're still capturing it. So I wanted to show you kind of like how I do this. It's completely messy. And when I'm done with a page, there are two different things I do. One is I will, this is old, I used to work in newspaper publishing, and when you were done with, it's called a galley, is before digital. When you were done with a piece of copy, a column that's going in the newspaper, but you're still holding on to it to check it against the new version, you would, it's this long strip of paper that's like 3 or 4 inches wide, or maybe in some cases 5 or 6, but usually 3 inches. You would hold your pen and you'd go down the middle, and it was a non-repo pen, which is blue, so that you, if you did need to go in and you cut out a piece of the copy, the blue pen wouldn't reproduce, but all the people inside the production shop could see that there's a line going through it, and that shows like, I'm done with this, it's done, we don't need this anymore, but we're still holding on to it in case we do need it. Because sometimes you do, like back in those old days, you would sometimes you'd have to move words around, and you'd needed a the or an and so you wouldn't want to have to reprint and do the whole photo process to just get the one word. So you just go over to the old galley, it's called a galley, that long strip, and you would just cut out the words you need, you'd wax the back, and you'd stick it in. It's sort of like collage. It's really complicated. I'm so glad everything is digital, but this is a habit that I have. So like if you're transcribing, sorry, I'm just gonna talk forever. This is gonna be a very long video. If you're transcribing, let's say, an old address book into a brand new address book, and you're done with a page, you take a highlighter. I have a whole thing of highlighters here next to me. You take a highlighter, let's see, and you would just go down the page with your highlighter to remind yourself that you have done that page. So the other thing, and I left this way to show you, I am done with this page, so I also just get rid of them. And I like writing on the right hand side, and if I'm out of paper, often I will flip the book over and then write upside down going the other way. If I'm in the car or whatever and I've finished the book and I don't have any options, so I will write on the right hand side and then I'll flip the book over. So I've done this page too. But this was just me thinking about some videos that I've watched recently, and so now I can throw these away. Some videos I've watched recently on this topic that I'm about to talk about, and then this is what I ended up with. So I also keep sort of an index. I don't really need it lately because I have, summer's really busy and I haven't filled my book. So I number the pages, and I've done my journaling tips. I have a hot weather list, another indoor thing. It's been very hot, so I've been trying to come up with things to do indoors while it's hot, and today it's going to be 100 degrees and I'm making a video. So and then journal rules is the one that I'm going to talk about in a little bit. So I've written it here. I also like to keep a pen with a clip, and I really like these. Remind me of my dad, the Flair Papermate. I bought them in all colors, and they are very snappy. They hold on really well, and they're just a very pleasant pen. And then they come in all colors. I like using a medium tone color like pink or orange, because then I can do black on top or underline or circle. So this is my everyday carry. So that's the capture. That's the capturing the wild ideas that I have at random times. I've even had to shout a message to my SIRI in my phone while I'm in the shower to capture an idea, because some of my best ideas are when I'm busy doing something else, and so I need to make sure that I'm always prepared, that I have ways to catch those ideas. Most of them are junk, but the worst feeling is when you have a great idea and then a minute later you can't remember what it was, and then personally I feel kind of shitty about those moments. Okay, so I don't know if I restarted this video once. I don't know if I said it already, but this is, I'm not using leather anymore. I'm trying not to use leather. And this is cork, and I bought it on Etsy and I love it. It's just a cover. There are no pockets. I'm sure I could probably make something like this myself. And I don't really even use the elastic band anymore. It really just sort of sits like this. And a lot of times it sits in a big stack because I pull everything out right in it and then I go off and do other things. But one of my favorite things is to come in the morning and I look at my desk, which I'll show you a picture of my desk. And it's like ready to go. It says, come on, Arleigh, let's write. Let's think of what to do and let's look through your ideas. So I like, my entire life is not neat, but I like having little neat work areas, and one of them is this work area where I'm sitting right now. So there's right now the breeze from the fan is blowing on the blinds a little bit, and the sunshine is coming in. I hope this doesn't bother you. If I close the blinds, then it will get darker. So there's a little sliver of light. Please don't let it bother you. All right, so let me show you the basics. This is sort of my next step after my capture, or it's my capture that stays in my office or on my desk. This is this month. Today is August 2nd, so I'm 2 days into this book. This is an entire year of calendars. And then this is the previous month that I put it away, and then I thought, maybe I should show it. So I'm going to do, this is the main part of the video, is flipping through this. So you may have fast forwarded up to this point and you haven't missed anything. So because I am just a talker. So I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to show you the new month, and then I'll talk about some other parts of this. Okay, so I use the Cocoa Daisy, I have an entire stash of old Cocoa Daisy notebooks. You may or may not know that I was the first designer, the product designer with Christine. I designed the original, we called them dories, short for, it was the Cocoa Daisy version of Midori, so it was a Daisy dory, and now they're called notebooks. But so part of my payment was that I also got a bunch of products. So I have shelves and shelves of older Daisy dories. Now I do little things here and there. I am also the cartoonist for Simon, and I also kind of help with some of the proofreading. And so I'm still involved with Cocoa Daisy, but I don't need to subscribe to their products because I have so much in my stash. So I look at what comes out on the reveal, and then I decide if I have anything that will sort of fit the same mood. And so I chose, I think this is from August of, we used to write the year in the back. So this is from August of 2018. And the days lined up. So I was really happy about that. And this is kind of what my garden has looked like last month. So the first thing I do is I pull the staples out, and I find some of my own paper. I'm kind of a basic gray freak. I've gotten rid of almost all of my scrapbooking paper except for my basic gray. So this is the older basic gray. And then I make it a little larger. And the reason is that I just can't put a booklet together as tightly as the printer does. So when I put the book back together, when I do the little sewing in the center, it just isn't quite as tight. So I like having it be, I don't know, I'm trying to show you. I like having it be a little too big so that the pages of the dory don't stick out past the cover. And then sometimes I build in a pocket and sometimes I don't. It's just sometimes I do the pocket this way, where I fold it up first and then I do this part. And sometimes I do two of these kind, but I like having a little place to tuck things. And then if the paper is a little flimsy or I've been kind of rough on it, I will add a little bit of reinforcement. I meant to do this before I sewed and then I forgot. And another thing you could do, it makes it look kind of more like a, I don't know, maybe like a composition book. You can put tape on. Look, there's a dot. I wasn't, all right, it can stay. You can put tape on first, and there's even some bookbinding tape that's pretty cool. It's kind of cloth-like. And then I sew it, and I use super sharp needles. And the first two holes on the top and the bottom are the ones from the staples. And then I just sort of approximate the other holes. And then once it's in, I don't even really notice it anymore. I've never had one fall apart. And the only part that, if you're a stickler, you might not like having these in the center. So that might be a problem for you. It's not for me. So anyway, the cover. So I just thought I'd stamp, and I always like to have the name of the month and the year, because I've been doing this for so long. I have, let's see. So it would be, I would have 12 Julys, because I think I've been doing this now for 12 years. I think her first planner and Dory was in 2014. I don't know, I'd have to look. But anyway, so I did this, and then I try not to put bulky things on until I'm really toward the end, because it's hard to write when there's bulky things on the front. So toward the end of the month, I added this gnome, and this is a little leftover. It's a little strip leftover from a bag from a grilled cheese shop in, and I think Wisconsin. I could have been Massachusetts. Anyway, it was a trip we were on, and I made a travel journal, and I used the cheese bag, the grilled cheese restaurant bag, as the cover. And then this little piece has been sitting next to my paper cutter, and I thought, how cute. And I like how you can kind of see that it still says cheese. And then this is a basic gray cloth, I forgot what you call them, button. And so I added this at the very end, because I don't, like I said, I don't like bulky things, but it's a nice little decoration. I think it looks pretty. And then a couple more on the back. So these are, I think these are Cocoa Daisy stamps. I think these are all Cocoa Daisy stamps from different times. These are not. Okay, so blah, blah, blah. I only use this for reference because I have the other book that I'm going to show you in a second. Sometimes I'm too busy to use these pages, and that's fine. They're just pretty. It's just like having a frontispiece in a book. And so what I often do is I start at the back to do my numbering. So this time I used older Cocoa Daisy banner thingies. Why can't I think of words today? Usually every 1 or 2 days, I write a little bit about the day, and I print out photos. I print out the photos kind of once a week, and I go back through and put them all in. Sometimes I have too many photos, and so I do these, I don't know why they're called tip-ins. In publishing, we don't really have this word, but anyway, it's like a pop-up book. Like, this is fun. I think this could be fun to do this as a kids thing, to have the designs go over like this. But I went to the Cherry Creek Art Festival in Denver, and I picked up a bunch of people's little postcards and stuff. And once I came home and looked up their artwork and made sure that I'm following them on Instagram, and in one case I actually bought someone's stuff once I got home, a piece of their art. I didn't want to get rid of them because they're gorgeous, and so they just go in here. At the end of the month, this gets, I look back through it one more time, make sure I didn't really miss anything super important, and it gets put into my box of stuff. I don't think I use these as reference books, but I have flipped through. There have been some huge months where a lot of things happened. There was one month when like the power went out and our dog was in heat and da 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 da. And I did keep track of that just with a couple of photos and a couple of notes. And it was nice to be able to go back and look through that. And then once I was sure of the month and the day, then I could go back into my computer and find like the actual appointments, and if whatever, you can sort of use it as a cross-reference. But it's just fun to flip through, and I feel sorry, I'm going to digress. I don't feel an obligation to write down everything that's happened in my life, but I do feel more clear-headed when I write down a few important things that are important to me at the time. So for example, sometimes I write down a continuing project, like I've been tracking my calories on MyFitnessPal, and then I stopped for a while. And instead of feeling guilty about that, I would write what I ate for dinner. And so that's what was happening in July. July kind of got away from me. So tuna on toast. So I sort of wrote just a quick note to remind myself to sort of keep up the habit of writing down my food. And now I'm back doing it again. But sometimes I allow myself to track things the way that I want to do it, that works best for me. So, sorry. It's been a while since I've done one of these flip through videos, and I don't want to be so quick and brief that I'm skipping over things. And also, I'm hoping that if you're either new to doing this kind of thing, or maybe you've been doing it for a while and you just are looking for some ideas, maybe if I just sort of chat my way through this, you will think, oh, I had forgotten about that, or oh, that's a good idea, or I'm going to try that. So that's kind of why I'm just going to blab. Let's see, a couple things I use when I do these tip-ins. A lot of times I will use a little piece of clear tape to hold it in place, and then I use the washi tape because it looks better, but sometimes washi tape doesn't hold quite as well as the clear tape. So I'm trying to find an example. Like this one, I wanted to wrap the tape around the paper, and it actually goes over this. And I didn't want to cover up the design, so I used a bit of clear tape here. I use clear tape here. So I go back and forth. The other thing about this book is, as I go, I cut off the corner and I use it as my place mark. So obviously the month is done and I go right to the back page, but I cut off the top corner as I go. Let's see, what else can I show you about this? These things that hang out, what I do is sometimes, this is something that I was going to tell you later, but I'll tell you now. Sunday, which is today, is my day to review everything. I just sort of sit here and go through the calendar that's coming up for the week. Have I updated my dory? Are there any little bits and bobs around the desk that I can use? Are there like leftover stickers? I'll show you a picture of I keep a little stash next to me of things that I feel like kind of match the vibe of the current book. And like, I'll just go through and start sticking things in. So I had this sitting out, and I use not a regular stapler, but Tim Holtz doesn't want you to call it a stapler. It's called a tiny fastener or something. And the staples are smaller than the normal kind of stapler. So I staple them in, and then I go to the back and I use something hard. Oh, not that one. Anything that's sort of hard. And I just smash down the little part that sticks up, just to make the book kind of flatter feeling. So I think I did it on this one, but I'll show you anyway. It just makes it kind of more sort of easier to run your hands over. And so I just think that's sort of cute to have things hanging out. And then I think for the next month, I have a whole stack and I'm going to really go for it. Sometimes it's fun. It feels kind of like my garden. If you've ever followed me on or seen my photos on Instagram, I love having a really crowded flower garden. Oh, here's pictures of my garden. So I also like to, on my Sundays, go through my stickers, and I'll just stick stickers in that even if they don't have any, even if they aren't like truthful, like I have no idea if I was offline this day and I don't really like tea, but it's just a cute sticker. And so I'll just go through and look for empty spaces to stick the stickers in, and to try to use them up, because it's a problem with hoarding where you hoard something and it's sitting in a drawer or in a bag or on a shelf and you never get to see it, but you know you have it. Well, guess what? If you use it, you still have it. And so it's a hard habit to build, to use up the things. So I don't know, it's hard for me to explain, but try to maximalize. Isn't that what it's called? It's like the opposite of minimalist, maximalist, whatever. To just try to cram a bunch of things in, and especially if they match. So that's the work that I do at the end of the month, is I kind of wrap it up, make sure all the spaces are filled, try to get to the point where I can actually throw some things away, the empty sticker sheets. And then I also look through my stuff and try to find things that match the vibe that I'm going for in the upcoming month. So I just went through that with August, and I'm going to show that to you. So let me flip through this. When my son and I travel and go anywhere, we take pictures of ourselves in mirrors. I don't know if I have any. Every time I see a reflection, oh, there's one. There's two. So it's just a fun travel tradition. And we're at the point now where I can just call his name and I point, and then he just knows to stand there and take the picture. That's a really fun thing. Another thing that I've been seeing lately is people, you know how you do screenshots to remember something? People are printing those out to help them remember the day or whatever the project is. So I would encourage you to consider printing out your screenshots as well as your regular photos. Here's a screenshot. And then sometimes I have to build these tip-ins because I just have too many photos for the day. Here's another screenshot. This was so stupid. I didn't think pshaw was a valid word. I'm zoom in the tiniest bit. So I tried every word I could think of, and then and my son said there's a whole society of people online who are mad at the Wordle. So, are mad at Wordle. They complain about Wordle. So this is there's a TV show we watch called Resident Alien, and when he's upset about something, he says, "This is some bullshit." And then lately I've been, the older Cocoa Daisy, I don't know if it's still this way, I assume it is, they handle marker very well. This is highlighter, but you can't see it through at all. And also, this is another thing, there are no planner police. Nobody cares if you put the photo on the exact date. Unless you're like getting ready to testify before Congress about something that happened, like nobody cares if I planted this garden on Saturday the 18th, or maybe I did it the week before. Nobody cares. If this is where it looks good and I have room for it, then that's where it goes. Try not to feel burdened by rules that you've sort of pulled out of thin air. So I have my own rules. I love having the date on every page. I don't know. I have some other rules, but and I try to approximate. Like, I don't know when I took this photo and this screenshot. This is the place that it ended up because I had room. Do you know what I'm saying? Oh, and here's another idea. If you have a bunch of stickers left over and that's all that's left on the sheet, go ahead and just, it's called a sticker sneeze when you just put a whole bunch together. I think it's cute. And I didn't have this. I was just writing it as a news event. Let's see. I'm going to write in the news so that there is no... sometimes I write a thing to remember the day. So if it's not what I ate, it's a news thing, some major event that has happened, or the weather. I often put that along the top. So this is just a monthly kind of memory book, junk journal maybe. I keep tons and tons of, I'm going to show you this. I just keep a little stack of like leftover labels nearby. And at the very end of the month, I go through and make sure that if anything needs explaining, I've put a label on it. I tend to kind of fall apart at the end of the month and forget to write, but I actually managed. And when it's hot, oh my God, it's so hard to do anything. Flipping through. If you keep a good journal, it's possible you might not need to use AI. I don't know if I'll delete this part. Maybe I'll edit it. Okay, so that's that. End of this chapter. I'm going to put this away. It doesn't live in this book anymore. It goes out into, I have a shoebox kind of thing. Okay, so let me show you my August, which is nice and clean and empty. And I just like a clip to hold it shut so that it looks cleaner. And same thing, this is basic gray paper, always the month and the year. And sometimes I just use the dates. So this is from a sticker sheet that had 1 through 31 for the days of the month. And I just did a 20 and a 26. And then this one, I made the pocket. I folded it all over and I made the pocket. And then I added these eyelet things. Remember those? I thought that would just be kind of cute, a little sort of industrial. My husband's got a project going, and he bought rivets and was doing denim with rivets for curtains for his trailer, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, oh, I forgot. I like the way metal looks. So I went through my Cocoa Daisy booklets, and this one's from May, and it has this nice plant theme. That's one of my favorite designs, and I think it was one of Christine's favorites too. And August is very hot here in Colorado, and I thought blues would be nice, plants. And so I had to redo the numbers. So I took my white pen. Let's see if I can find my white pen. So this is a brand that's pretty good. If you go on Amazon, you can get a set that has different sizes. But this has that glob of goo that you'll see a lot of people are manually adding to their Uniball Signo to force the ink to come out. But so far, I really like this one. These have been, they haven't dried up. And so I go through and I scribble. It's not like I can cover up the dates perfectly, but since this book is just for me, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to kind of hide it. So I just sort of went through and did that, waited for it to dry. And then I have these cool stickers. I think these are Heidi Swap stickers. And like I said on the July one, I really only use this for reference because I have this other book that is crazy full of all my appointments and stuff. Oh, and this said May, and I have a little stack here of different little embellishments. And I stamped, then cut, added this. This is another digression. Instead of making a New Year's resolution, I make a monthly resolution. There's an idea that if you can keep a habit going for some shorter period of time, like 60 days or whatever, 90 days, then that will become a habit. Like it'll become instituted, in your, I don't know what I'm trying to say. You won't need to try very hard anymore. So I started doing this years ago, like 20 years ago, and some of them have totally worked. It's so great. So I would do a monthly resolution. And for example, the one that I always give as the example, because it still works, is make the bed as soon as you get out of bed. I know there's a whole European thing that says you're supposed to air out your bed and blah, blah. But I love coming back into the room and seeing the bed made. It's got that sort of like fresh hotel room housekeeping feeling. It feels nice to come back into the room and see the bed made. So I did that for 1 month. Now it's been like 20 years. The bed is made every day. I make sure that the bed is easy to make, so I don't put a lot of stuff on it, but it's still so nice and clean. I also tried folding and putting away the laundry as soon as it comes out of the dryer. I cannot get that one to work. So now I try to do Saturdays. I've tried a couple of times. So some habits don't stick. This year, I divided my year, instead of by month, I divided into 4-week chunks. It's been really confusing, but the reason is that I use Sunday as my day to review. So every 4 Sundays, I go over the past resolution and I kind of, I guess I just sort of think about it and then I make my new one. So hold on a second. I'm going to show you my little cheat sheet. So it's super, don't be boggled. This is just the way my brain works. So I am in America and or the USA, and we start our weeks on Sundays. So these are all the Sundays. I have 12 months plus January, so it's actually 13 months. So it goes, it was December 28th till January 24th. January 25th to February 21st, and so on. And so each 4-week chunk, I had a different kind of thing to be thinking about. For me, it's not so much habits, but just sort of goals and personal improvement type things. I'll quickly go through them. Daily downtime was to try to get over the idea that if you aren't always doing something, then you're worthless, which is just a really old idea in my head. And so I actually had to schedule downtime, and I'm much better about it now. Now that I've done this, once a day, seek 5+ minutes of calm and pleasure. So sometimes it's just sitting in the backyard looking at my garden, which sounds so kind of dumb, but I would feel guilty about it and kind of bored. I even have a hard time taking a bath. I think they're kind of boring. So I've given myself permission now to both have the downtime, but to do it my own way. Like it's not like there's like a specific way that you have to do it. You do it the way that works best for you. So I actually will find something interesting to watch on my iPad. I'll put it on a stool and then I'll get in the bath and then I'll watch the video, and that way I'm getting my relaxing bath. I'm enjoying watching something on the iPad. I still set the scene, but it's not like I'm sitting there in a bubble bath with a glass of champagne. I'm just in a hot bath with watching a video. So that's what this taught me. Complete the incomplete. That was just working through the house. We've done construction. I still haven't completed things. I just wanted to spend a chunk of time every day thinking about what is not done and what can I do. And I would spend 15 minutes, and that was really good too. The social media, limit social media. I've realized, I was thinking about this like when you're eating food and you realize you don't like it, or you're just not hungry, there's something wrong with it, maybe it's a food you don't like, you stop eating it. And I need to apply that same moment of judgment to social media, because I tend to doom scroll, and so I have to be more self-aware of that little moment where I'm like, ooh, this isn't fun anymore, and just close the app and either find a different app or listen to music or have something else queued up. And so I went through and purchased a bunch of audiobooks so they're all ready to listen to, and I also made some different playlists on my music, different lengths. So I have like a 20-minute playlist of music and like that. So the social media was more about like, how am I feeling, the doom scrolling stuff. This is my own personal little saying, and it's kind of like the housekeeping thing. When you're on a trip, you're on vacation, you come back to the hotel room and they've cleaned the room. And for just a second you go, oh, this is nice. And then you go on with the rest of your day. And I'm living in a beautiful house. I have a lovely garden. Everything is going my way, and yet I'm still sort of grumpy all the time. And so I've been trying to work on adding more of this, where I come into a room or I see something pretty and I just go, oh, this is nice. And then I move on instead of dwelling on this. But I love this. And it really helps me, and this is a habit that I can catch myself feeling kind of grumpy, and so I will deliberately make myself do more, this is nice. The one day at a time is, I was feeling overwhelmed. I don't remember what was going on, but it's from, I have family members in the 12-step programs, and one of the ideas that I've pulled from those is the idea of just handling your life one day at a time. Instead of looking too far ahead and feeling overwhelmed, you just focus on what's in front of you and do a good job at that. This is about going back to see family. I often feel in competition with some family members, and it's ridiculous. It's all in my head, and so I thought I need to come up with a saying that I can just repeat in my head, because I get in these moods. And so that was my little like mantra. This just was last month, and I was thinking, I took my car in for a checkup, for the 30,000 mile thing, and I thought how funny it is that we humans don't have a maintenance schedule the same way that cars do. One of the things that I've been doing is I have a little printout in my bathroom, and I keep it with all my little serums and creams and all the little trial sample sizes of things, and depending on which day of the week, I have put different thing on my skin. So like, I brought some products back from Japan 2 years ago and I still haven't used them. So like, I do that on Fridays and on Saturdays, and I do the thing, and then I have some like some kind of like cleanser. I don't know, I can't think of the name of it. And I do that on Friday nights and so on. And so that's it. It's just like changing your oil or filling up with gas. If you think of your body, well, maybe it's because I'm in my 60s, you think of your body like a machine that just needs to be taken care of. And spending 2 or 3 minutes doing more than just brushing your teeth actually feels very nourishing and it feels luxurious. So that's what this was. And right now I'm finishing this one. I'm thinking of my day as if I'm looking at a checkbook register. And if you're old like me, you would deposit a check and you'd write it down, and then you would add the balance, and so you'd have a running balance. And then if you wrote a check, then you would write that down and you'd subtract it from the balance. And so I was thinking how I'm always sort of in a negative balance, and I want to check in more regularly. I was thinking of doing it like every 15 minutes, but that's ridiculous for me. So now it's just to remember to check in. This isn't really a trackable, some things are trackable, like 15 minutes a day. Yes, I did it. But I just want to, and this isn't the same as This Is Nice. This is just me kind of rating the moment. Like, how is this? Is the temperature good? Do I feel good? Does the shirt feel good? What could make it a little better? I love burning a little bit of incense when I'm alone in the house. I also sometimes put a little perfume on my wrists so that when I'm doing stuff, I'll get a little hit of the smell. And so those are little ways to like improve a low rating and make it a little better. And so today is August 2nd. And so I have the rest of this week to do this, and I need to think about what my next one is. And so this is hanging up on my wall in my studio, and I don't really need to remind myself of this because I just see it all the time. But so these are my monthly resolutions. I thought I'd actually try to use this for first page. And then I'm kind of a messy stamper, and I got stamp smudge. And I used my little handy dandy white pen and tried to cover it up a bit. And I've discovered that I don't need to write the days of the week so much if I just mark the weekends. And so that's why these are highlighted, because that's Saturday, Sunday. So this is where we are right now. And then usually I write a little bit of journaling, and then I print the photos. So in a couple days, I'll print a bunch of photos and I'll fit them in. If there isn't enough room, I will do a card to bin, and I have a few sitting here ready to go. And that's it. So I did the letter for the days of the week, and then the number stamp, and I did it in a typewriter font because I'm kind of obsessed with typewriters this week. That's funny. I feel bad about that. I'm the one who put this together, and so this is my fault that this happened. But it's too late now. It is kind of fun using a product that I'm the one who put it together. And then these are, usually I put these on I don't try to line them up too much, but I like it when the little shoulder sticks out like that. And then I like it when they kind of line up like this. And I do them so that the tab is near a weekend, but not blocking anything important. Because sometimes there's like graphics that I don't want to cover. And you can see I've started the little thumb thing in the corner. So I accidentally clipped one page too many, so it flips to tomorrow. So here's today. And then these are these little, I'll show you that in a second. I'm going to just empty out my stash box to just show you the things that I keep next to me to use. And then I have a little pocket. Okay, so that's that book. That's August. Now I'm going to show you my yearly. I don't think I've shown this before. So let's see, so in 2018, and I don't know if we did it for 2019, but we did a yearly book. And once this year is over, I'm going to look through my stash and see, if I have any pre-printed ones, and if I don't, I'm going to make my own, because this has been amazing. So every Tuesday, so I work from home, and now I'm retired from home, and the thing that I've realized is routine is super important. So Tuesday is my day to sit and go through my bills and kind of wrap up all the email, all the businessy kind of things. And I get this out and I put it right next to me. And I do a cross through the day to show the day's over. I use this thing on the side to keep track of, bill paying type things. And this is all kind of businessy appointments, and it's messy, and this reminds me of like my date book in college. It's just kind of messy and highlighters, and so this is where I am now, and I have this to kind of hold the pages together. Super cute little clip. I think a friend gave that to me. And then so like if I have a credit card bill coming through and I need to watch for it, I'll write it down so that when that day comes, I can make sure it did go through and I'll check it off. And the thing that I like about a physical calendar is being able to write an arrow to, draw out an arrow for a whole week or a section of time. And this is not meant to be pretty. It's only useful. And boy, is it useful. I love this. And so that's that. Then, this is my kind of my capture book that stays here. And I made this cover. I kind of wanted to put a Velcro. I'm going to move all the stuff to the side. I was thinking of doing Velcro or a magnet, but I like being able to go like this too. So anyway, so this is the sort of the fancier version of this, and I have more. I have one of these in my, where I change my clothes. I have one next to the bed. I have one in my purse. There's one in the kitchen. So I make sure that I always have a place to write stuff down. And if it's something that's super important, I'll take a photo of the page so that it's now in my phone. But anyway, they're just great. It's great to capture things. So this is my sort of scribbly, messy book. And I just did this for fun. There's no reason for it. I just thought it would be kind of cool. And then also make sure that you do write, if there's any chance that it's leaving your house, that you write how to contact you inside it if somebody finds it. This is just I don't even know what book this is. I don't know what that says, THE something. And this is funny. As a proofreader, this kind of thing drives me crazy and makes me laugh. This be the best presents for yourself in the future. And that's just the crazy font. But I like that. I like messed up stuff. So I left the front page open thinking that I just restarted. This is a fresh one. I might do an index. And I also saw somebody who likes to do their index in the back. I guess I would have to skip past the address book part. But his reasoning was, if you start your index in the back, then as you complete the book, your index will meet the book, and that way you haven't wasted any pages, and you always will have enough. But if you start your index in the front, there's a chance you'll run out of paper in the front, and then you'll have to add something, or if you don't have enough, then you have this wasted page. But I usually only write on my right hand side page, so I think I'm pretty good putting the index in the front. This is a diagram. I was thinking about this video that I'm doing right now, and I thought how I would do a diagram of my desk. So I just sort of sketched it out. So this is where I am right now. This is TN for Traveler's Notebook. Let's see if I can find something to point with. All right, this is my IKEA pen. Traveler's notebook. This is my paper blotter that I'm working on. I keep kind of like my junk over here on my left side because I need a whole space for my elbow right here. So there's like nothing next to me here. I have some little containers of like pens and stuff. There's temporary. Here I have it's called a Lazy Susan. It's a little spinny thing with a cup, pen cup, and it's kind of tools, chapstick, gum, an eraser, scissors, little things that always need to stay nearby. The desk that I'm working at right now does not have a drawer, so it's kind of like my drawer. It's just an old writing desk that I got at a thrift store. I keep a little piece of cardstock right here, and it's where I keep my drink. And so right now I have 2 drinks there, but when I took the photo, I had headphones. So it's my drink coaster. I'm sure I could fancy that up, but it's the cover, it's the, this thing, the Cocoa Daisy covers that I pull off of the Traveler's Notebook, and then they become a coaster until they're used up, and then I use a new one. Let's see, I have an ATG gun. I love this. It's what framers use. It's archivally safe adhesive. You depress the clutch and you roll it out, and then you let go of the clutch, and then you apply this permanent, extremely sticky tape. And it seemed like a really big deal at the time to buy this, but now I use it for everything. But I also use a dot roller, and this is also permanent, but it is not permanent until a little time has passed. So you still have time to sort of move things around, and it applies little dots. And it's almost the same thing. You open it up and you put a little roller in, the same as the ATG gun. Okay, after this. So I always keep that here. I have my little Scotch tape dispenser. I have a trash, and it's a coffee company called, what's it called? There's the little thing. Is it on the lid? Oh, it's called Happy. It's got ink on it. It's a coffee that I got when I was traveling. I forget, it's owned by somebody famous, but I can't think of who it is. Anyway, I just love the white container, and I could not get myself to throw it away. So it's my trash container, and it's also where I keep this calendar to refer to, and it's difficult because I think in terms of Sunday first, and they have Monday first, so I have to highlight the weekend. These are actually big stickers, but because I don't like the Monday first, I can't really use it, so it's just sort of here. It's like a lot of information. This is a very long video. I have binoculars because you never know. I have my big lamp. It's a really good, beautiful, nice office lamp. And then here's my pile of stuff, and I'm about to show this to you. Oops, get back in frame. And then I wanted to show you kind of my process. So I wrote those 2 pages that you saw me throw away earlier, and then I rewrote them, and I wanted to talk to you about this. And like I said, this is a very long video. I'm sorry. Okay, so I wrote myself a note. So I watched a couple of, instead of watching TV in the morning like I used to, I watch YouTube videos in the morning with my first cup of coffee. And lately I've been watching videos about journaling. I'm going to do my very best to link the videos in the description so that I don't have to try to be so super accurate right now while I'm talking, because I don't like having a script. There's one type of journaling where he calls it the Grail, and you write absolutely everything except your to-do lists, which go separately. They go on a scrap of paper or they go in a different place. So the Grail, that's one. The other is the vomit method, which I hate that word. And I noticed in his comments, somebody changed it to motivate, MOTIV, and then an 8, because there's 8 days at a time. So they do motive 8. And I didn't use I did the acronym, but I didn't use his same words because they didn't work for me. And so this is my version of the vomit method. And then another is a guy who has a journal where there's no handwriting allowed. So he uses a typewriter. And it's just his video is just, it's like listening to music. It's a really good video. It's very pleasurable to watch. He has a great style, and it makes you feel really excited about your journal. And then I just wanted to say, in general, that the whole point of all of this, everything that I've talked to up to now, is to just get it out, to empty my brain. And a couple of people have described journaling and writing things down like there's a video that I keep seeing on Facebook where they show a farmer clearing out a big pipe by pulling a big rubber tire through, and it pulls all the sludge out, and then it goes blah, and then all the stuff that's been stuck in the pipe comes out, and then the water is nice and clear and clean. And so I don't like the idea of vomit, and also there are other things you could compare it to, which is kind of gross. So I was thinking, in a way, it feels like unclogging. And I tried to make my acronym unclog, but then that's kind of gross too. So I think motivate or motive is more Arleigh. And it was fun to flip through the thesaurus and try to find, I worked to find the E, and it was fun to make it apply. And so this is not like my life's acronym. This is just my journaling acronym, if that makes sense. It is a very important part of my life. I've always kept a diary or a journal of some kind. I found myself writing on Twitter a lot and Facebook, and I really want to stop doing that and get that stuff back in here, because if I do say so myself, I think sometimes I have some things that are funny or interesting or wise, and I want to capture them in my own books and not throw them out online for nobody to read or look at. So blah, blah, blah. That's what this is. So those 2 pages were me working through my version of the vomit and changing the words around and making it more what works for me and adding the E. And then once I did it in this book, now I transferred it to this one, so it's a little more permanent. And so now I can throw this one away. And that's an awesome feeling. And then I can cross it off my index. And now this book I only have like 5 sheets left. Super feeling. So having done that, I want to tell you, and if you've watched my previous video about capturing everything, this is sort of a reiteration of it. And I was thinking about how, I actually wrote the same thing here. If your capture is meant to be discardable, like temporary, and I was thinking how it's similar to paper plates when you eat. It's the easy, quick, cheap throwaway. And then you review it. You go over it, you make notes, and you decide, yep, I like this, or we're headed in the right direction. And then you sort. And so then you're on your everyday plates. And so that's what this might be, your everyday plates. And then you have your good china. So that's when you decide, like, where does this idea belong? Or is it done? I'm never going to use it again. I've seen like the Grail guy, he has so many tabs and stuff sticking out of his books. I don't think that would work for me. That feels messy. I like it pretty. So just because somebody else makes something look good for them doesn't mean it's going to work for you. And you need to spend a minute, or you need to try out something and see if it works for you. So I wrote down here, these are mine and not necessarily how you would do it. So you sort and you decide whether it gets thrown out or you're keeping it or you still don't know. And then here are the different, one is I keep a journal for venting. And it's really just like my mom called and blah, 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 or, you know, getting mad at the family for always going to the store and they don't call and ask me if I need anything, you know, it's like that kind of stuff. Or dreams, or I'm always exploring some inner stuff. And I have been seeing a therapist about my negative self-talk. So that's the place that the journal is nice. And sometimes I only write just one sentence. Lately, I've been writing down, trying to do one memory a day. And I've also been using the journal app on my phone. Another one is memory keeping, and that's what the book is. That is kind of the whole point of this video, was the July one that I just finished. And the other one is the August that I just started. And it's really kind of a, I don't know, basic photo-based quick memory, like we did this, we went there, it was hot. Planning and scheduling, I do keep a online digital calendar, but I love that kind of bookkeeping calendar that I showed you earlier. Projects and ideas, that's what would go here. And then my Bible, and I cannot think of a good word for it. I've really been working hard on, I'm not religious, but Bible is the best word for it. And it's the like what to do in case of emergency, keeping track of people's birthdays, what paints do I want to inventory, that sheet that I showed you of the year's worth of resolutions. So like it's more of like the big things, and I take a little more time to make them look nice. If they don't look nice, I'll scrap them and start over. And so like these are like the keepers. And so I have a Bible, and I'm working to find a different word for it. It doesn't have to have a word, but it has that concept of like, you know, super important, keep forever. And I bought two nice 3-ring binders, and I have one that's family. Like if I was in a coma and they needed to look stuff up, like where do we keep our checkbooks, that's all in one. And then the other one is my own private stuff, and that's the stuff that I just said, like the paint inventory and stuff. And I don't go through those all the time. I set them up. I spent a nice day setting them up, but I really only now use them only when I need them. So this sounds like a lot of work. It sounds like I have a lot of things going on, but kind of once you get into a schedule, it all kind of like falls into place. Right now it's Sunday. Sunday's my day to do this kind of thing. And so I feel perfectly comfortable spending time doing this. But any other day of the week, I'd feel a little annoyed that I was doing this because I do other things on other days. Saturday is my sort of housekeeping day. Tuesday, I do bookkeeping. And then I reserve hopefully 4 to 6 hours of either gardening time or art time. So I have to just sort of schedule myself, because if I didn't, I would feel at the end of the week personally like I got nothing done. So I have to have kind of a basic skeleton schedule. So anyway, let's get back to this, and then I'm going to show you my box full of stuff, and then I think I'm done. I'm going to do my best to put chapter titles on this video, but if you see, if I've said that I'm going to talk about something and then I didn't, please let me know. Okay, so I'm not going to tell you everything that he said. I'm going to do this for myself. So this is my journaling guide. My mission, what is my whole goal? My whole goal is to empty like the tire pulling the sludge out of the water pipe. And then the end point or the waypoints is what the overall goal is, to just be clear-headed so that I can have time and space inside my brain to create. And then the waypoints might be this month I'm going to work on my handwriting. I'm going to make it look prettier. So I might have sort of like more specific, closer points to work on, but I do have an end point. My obligations, so that's where I can empty my brain of all the junky junk, the tasks, the lists, the chores, scheduling, planning, bookkeeping. The trajectory and Struthless, who's the one who came up with the vomit system, he said, think about your trajectory like if you were trying to explain to a 5-year-old what you're doing. Because I think that's really valid, because kids are so honest and they'll call you immediately on something if you seem to be bullshitting, basically. So you need to, this is the review. Am I aimed toward my mission? There's a game that I play called Cozy Grove, and you pull the little joystick back, or no, I can't remember how you do it, but when you're fishing, you can throw the line, and then it's not fishing, sorry, skipping stone. So you throw the skipping stone, and then if you miss and you try to do it again, it'll kind of show you where you did last time so that you can correct a little bit. And that's what I'm thinking about with this. Like, are the things that I'm doing really lining up with my mission? And then I wrote micro and macro, meaning like today, this week, and then at the big picture is my trajectory headed toward my big mission. Another purpose for all of these books, and especially this capture book and my other little notebooks I keep everywhere, is to capture my ideas. And no, there are no bad ideas at that point. You totally write everything down. If you have a new idea for bean salad, it can go right next to your solution for world peace. Everything gets written down. Quantity is more important than quality at this point, and then you can sort through it later. Venting, this is kind of what the journal, my regular journal, which I will kind of flip through, but I don't want to really show it to you. It's the unclogging. It's to just get it out, because it is such a relief. Even if you just say, I'm so angry, and then just writing that down, you just, it's out. It's so great. And then the E, so someone else wrote MOTIV 8, and then they did the 6, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things for 8 days, but I don't want to do little times like that. So I thought I'm just going to do motive, and I'm going to find something for E. So this is what I worked on yesterday, and I decided on explore. And so this is similar to ideas, where I'm actually going to spitball. I'm going to try things out, and I'm going to be really creative here. So this is my journaling kind of plan. And then I still need to write this into my index. I haven't decided whether I'm going to do an index here or in the back. So that's this book. And I keep this to hold the little flap down, because I don't think I'm going to do Velcro or a magnet. And then I'm going to show you my stash, and then we'll be done. Okay, so here's my journal. This was next to my bed, and I felt like it was kind of ruining my mornings to feel like I had to write in my journal, and now I come up to my office and write in my journal when I feel like it. But I do keep a notebook next to the bed. So I'm just going to show you. I only write on the right hand side. I always write the day and time and year. I've realized that even if you think you'll remember what year, you're wrong. And then I saw the video about typewriters, since I got out my manual typewriter, and the keys are so like stiff. I really had to, like, I'm a super fast typist, but with this one I had to like hit with my fingers like this. It was kind of fun and funny. And I just wrote kind of a stream of consciousness about creativity on a bag. And it turns out the bag doesn't fit in my standard dory, because the standard dories are 4 1/4 inches wide, and this is whatever this is. and it didn't fit. So I just left it here, and I thought maybe I would use this as a background for something, and then I thought, no, I'm just gonna stick it in. And I used my ATG, and it's in here for good. And then I'm kind of sad, but my book is falling apart. So this was on a package. I grabbed it. I pulled it off the package. So anyway, I only write on the right-hand side page, which is fine because this is super thin paper. And I don't have to worry about writing over the back of something. I don't think this book is going to last however many. Let's see, when did I start? September 23rd. Oh, so almost a year ago. So this is 1 year's worth. 11 months. So maybe I can finish this in a year. And then, yeah, so this is my journal. And it just sits here. Sometimes if I want to remind myself to write in my journal, I will get it all ready with whatever writing supplies, and I'll leave it sitting here so that when I come up to my office, it's like sitting here waiting for me. So here's my box of stuff. It's so full. And I'm gonna zoom out. And I keep one large thing in the back. I'm going to show this to you in a photo because it's impossible to show you with this overhead thing. But I want to show you everything I have in here. So first I get my Cocoa Daisy kit out, and sometimes it's still together as a kit. This isn't the one that matches the August that I'm doing, but I just grabbed a different one. Anything that kind of has that green and white vibe, green and white and flowers. One of the nice things about Cocoa Daisy is it's not like they repeat, but there's an aesthetic that repeats. So you can find some things that overlap, and you can start to use one ingredient from one kit with another kit, and they start to look nice together. So this is from a different, I don't know if this says what month. Sometimes they say which month, and sometimes they don't. May 2024. So I'm using it with May 2018, and it still kind of has the same colors and vibe. And it might be annoying to some, but it is intentional, I believe. And it allows you to do what I do, which is to sort of grab things and keep using them. So this has, just random stuff, some letters and things. So there's always this. Then these are just a little extra things, but I also have extra little folders that I can stick into that cork traveler's notebook cover. And if I want to have some extra thing that I'm working on, and I like, so these are just the covers. This is just a cover, but this is a folder. And so if I did, like, let's say I need to move out of my office for a bit, I could put a whole bunch of things in here, put this in. And so it's nice to have a little folder that matches your stuff, your size, so that you can grab it and go. And then also, this is my absolutely favorite basic gray ever. And for a short time before they closed down and became a fabric company, they sold their papers digitally, and so I bought this one as a digital file. So I can print it out whenever I need it, because I need it, I love it. So let me just show you junk, all this junk. This is an old Project Life book. It does have this cool magnetic clasp. I covered it up with little thingies, little scraps of paper, and what's in it is little scraps of paper. So that way I don't feel overwhelmed by all the stuff on my desk. And also this is sticker paper. Sticker paper is so handy when you make a mistake writing or stamping something, then you can just put it over. So I keep little pieces of sticker paper nearby. So there's that. Lots and lots and lots of labels. I already showed you, but I just like, when I go through my stuff and I see that there's something with just a couple labels left over, it goes into my little box. And sometimes I just will write just the date. Sometimes that's all I need to, or fun, or vacation, or whatever. So I have that. I have a whole bunch of that. I love this one. I love these sort of checklisty types of sticky notes and pads of paper. And then I went through my stuff and found, I think this actually goes with the kit. These are sticky notes, or sticky tabs. So I just sort of tried to find things that had the same color vibe. I think these also go with this kit. So these are sitting here waiting for me to use as tip-ins. Sometimes the back is better than the front for that use. And then I also keep a couple of just sort of random, you know, thingies nearby. And then these are the smaller cards. I think I used the back of one of, yeah, I stamped on the back of one of them when I was testing out my stamps. And I have the die cuts, and this is what I was talking about when probably next Sunday or the Sunday after that, I'll start going in and adding die cuts and stickers into the empty spots. I have no idea where this one came from. And I'm just using this bag that the Dory came in to keep them together. These are some stickers. I think my son bought a roll of stickers and then gifted me a few. Then these are stickers collected over a couple of trips. I cannot decide what to do with them. I kind of envy teenagers who put them on everything. So this is my little sticker hoard. I can't decide what to do with it. And then this is what the rest of it looks like. I go through all my washi. Oh, I found some more. I go through my washi and try to find things that have the vibe of the month that I'm currently working on. And so this all sits in this little box. I keep one extra clip nearby so that I can hold down a page while I'm working on it. And that's it. Got my pens, scissors, tweezers. Tweezers are super important. I think that's pretty much it. I hope that this catches you up and has made you interested and excited to do your own. And oops. And that's it. Thanks for watching. Let me know if I said that I was going to talk about something and then I didn't. I think I did. Bye.